Hi, my name is Greg Olson and I'm the Director of the New York State Office for Aging. Many older New Yorkers are eligible for a variety of federal, state, and local benefits that can put cash in their pockets, help pay for prescriptions, food, and heat, have their taxes reduced, or help pay for care in the community. These are benefits that you have worked for and your tax dollars have supported until a time that you may need them. Unfortunately for many, they are either unaware of these benefits or might be reluctant to apply. Some of the applications for the benefits can be filled out and you can just simply submit them. Others need to be filled out and approved by a local official. Either way, we wanted to make it as easy as possible for you to apply for these benefits by showing you how to fill out certain applications so that you can get them approved easily. So instead of you having to go to somebody to fill them out, we're bringing the experts to you. I would like to thank all of our state partners and local experts for helping us help you understand these applications that sometimes can be difficult to understand or may be complex. Understand how to fill them out and any backup documentation you may need so that you can access these important benefits. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Becky Preve and I'm the Executive Director of the Association on Aging in New York. During today's video, we're going to walk through and complete an application for New York State Medicaid coverage. It's important to note that for the purposes of this video, we will be applying for the highest level Medicaid coverage, which does cover skilled nursing facility care in institutional settings. It's important to note that at times it can be difficult to independently complete a Medicaid application and obtain all necessary documentation for approval. Therefore, if you have any difficulty in completion of a Medicaid application or obtaining necessary follow-up documentation, feel free to reach out to your local office for the aging for assistance. It's also extremely important during the application process that any section that includes a recommendation of sending proof that this is done in order to process the application. This includes information about personal identifying information, health insurance coverage, any medical bills, as well as proof of income and resources. For the skilled nursing facility application, you will need to provide a full 60-month look back of your financial picture and be prepared to submit follow-up documentation for any transactions identified as being over $2,000. This is page 1 of the actual application. You will see in section 1, it includes applicant information. On this slide, you're going to enter your first name, your middle initial, your last name, as well as including information on your primary phone number, an alternate phone number for a worker to contact you at, as well as what language you are able to speak and read. Additionally, information is asked regarding your home address and includes the send proof informational icon. Sending proof indicates that you do need to verify your address information in order to complete your Medicaid application. Additionally, you are able to identify another person in the home or in your family network who can receive Medicaid notices on your behalf, and you can include 3 levels of verification for this service. An individual is able to apply on your behalf or renew your Medicaid coverage. Another alternative is allowing an individual to discuss your Medicaid application or case, as well as getting notifications and correspondence from the local Medicaid office. Section B includes household information. It includes anyone that lives within your household, including yourself. The first line, you will want to include yourself first, and then list any additional family members in your home. It is very important on household information to identify areas that indicate proof is necessary to determine eligibility, including date of birth, as well as your current citizenship status. You'll additionally need the full maiden name or the person's birth name before they were married included on your Medicaid application. You are given additional lines for additional family members that reside in your current home. Next slide. Section B continues with further household information. It is very important to include any individual that resides within the home, even if they are not applying for insurance coverage. Next slide. Section C includes household income. Again, you will see notification on this page indicating that you do need to send proof of this information. The initial line includes earnings from work, which includes wages, salaries, commissions, tips, overtime, or self-employment. It is very important that you complete all sections of this application, including checking the box if there are no earnings from work. Additionally, you're able to list the name of the person, the type of income that is received, how much is received before taxes, and how often the payment is received. The second section is unearned income, which includes Social Security benefits, disability payments, unemployment benefits, interest and dividends, VA benefits, workers' compensation, child support payments and alimony, any rental income, pension, annuities, or trust income. It is very important if there is no unearned income in the home that you check the box for no unearned income. The next line includes contributions. This would be any money from relatives or friends, anyone that rooms or boards in your home, or anyone that includes giving you money each month to help meet your living expenses. Again, it's very important to check if there are no contributions that come into the household. Additionally, there is another line including temporary or cash assistance, supplemental security income, payments, student grants, or loans. And again, it's important to check the box if there are none in the home. It also includes a question if you or any applying adult is in Section B housing and has no income. If there is no income listed above, please explain how you are living. This would include payment from friends or relatives, or staying with friends and relatives who are supporting your living arrangements. There's also a question number 3. If anyone is applying, had changed jobs, or stopped working in the past 3 months, again, it's very important that you answer all questions. If you have been employed in the past 3 months, you need to indicate your last employment, the date, and the name of your employer. The next question is if anyone is in the home who is a student in a vocational undergraduate or graduate program, and again, if the answer is yes, you must list the undergraduate or graduate program. Question 5 includes information on paying for dependent child care or disabled adult care in order for you to work or to go to school. Again, if you are making these payments, they need to be listed in the child or adult's name, the amount of the payment, and how often the payment is made. Next slide. Section D is regarding health insurance coverage for you and your family. It includes the question if anyone who is applying for Medicaid coverage has Medicare insurance. If so, again, you'll see the Send Proof button. This would include a copy of your Medicare red, white, and blue card to attach to your application. The second question is if anyone applying already has other commercial health insurance, including long-term care insurance plans. Again, this is a Send Proof question, so if you do have other insurance options, you need to make a copy of your insurance card as well as listing name of insured and the persons covered. Question 3 is if the parent or step-parent of any child applying is a public employee who can get family coverage through a state benefit plan. Again, even if you're applying for long-term care insurance and have no dependent children, it's important that you answer this question. Number 4 is if in the past 6 months anyone lost or canceled any type of health insurance that was provided through an employer. Again, this is a yes or no question. And if the answer to this question is yes, you need to include the month that coverage was terminated. The next question is whether or not your current job offers health insurance. If so, Medicaid at times is able to help pay for the cost of the premium. Again, it's very important that you answer yes or no to this question. Section E are housing expenses. This is any monthly housing payment, such as a rent or mortgage, that includes property taxes. It includes a line to list your share. Additionally, if you pay for water separately at your home, the question includes how much do you pay, as well as the Send Proof icon, which means you would need to send a copy of your water bill. The last question under housing expenses is if you receive free housing as part of your pay. Again, this is a yes or a no question. We are now to Section F, which is really what we wanted to focus on today for the supplemental Medicaid application. This is if an individual is blind, disabled, chronically ill, or needs nursing home care. These are additional questions that help determine which program would be best for the applicant. Again, this includes if no one that is applying is blind, disabled, chronically ill, or in a nursing home, you're able to stop and proceed to Section G. For purposes of this video, we are going to be applying for nursing home level coverage Medicaid. Question 1 is, are you or anyone who lives with you and is applying in a residential treatment facility or receiving nursing home care in a hospital, nursing home, or other medical institution? This question would be a yes if an individual was in a hospital setting or a facility-based service setting. If not, and the individual resides in the community, this question would be no. The second question is, are you or anyone who lives with you blind, disabled, or chronically ill? Again, if the answer is no, you would stop completing the application. If the answer is yes, you will finish completing the application and complete what's called a Supplement A form for long-term Medicaid coverage. Next slide. Section G is additional health questions. So this will ask you questions regarding any medical or prescription expenses you may have that Medicaid could potentially cover. The question is, does anyone applying have paid or unpaid medical or prescription bills for this month or 3 months prior to Medicaid application? Again, this is a send proof icon, which would include you submitting any prescription or medical bills paid or unpaid for the prior 3 months included with the application. The second question is, do you or anyone applying have unpaid medical or prescription bills older than the previous 3 months? Again, this is a yes or a no question with the send proof determination necessary for additional bills. Number 3 is, have you or anyone who lives with you and is applying moved into this country from another state or New York State county within the past 3 months? Again, this is a yes or a no question, and you will need to include information on where you moved from if within the past 3 months. Does anyone who is applying have a pending lawsuit due to an injury? This is again a yes or a no question. If this is a yes, you do need to provide information on who is the member of the lawsuit due to injury. Number 5, does anyone applying have a workers' compensation case or an injury, illness, or disability that was caused by someone that could be covered by insurance? Again, this is a yes or a no question with information regarding who the individual with a workers' compensation case or injury and illness is listed. Section 8, for purposes of this Medicaid application, will not be completed. This would be if a parent or a spouse of an individual applying for Medicaid coverage not living in the household would need to be listed. Again, for purposes of a long-term Medicaid application, this would not need to be filled out for insurance coverage. So Section I is health plan selection. Again, for purposes of this application, we are going to be including an individual over the age of 65 with Medicare coverage, so we would stop and skip this section. Section J is the signature portion of the Medicaid application. A Medicaid application cannot be processed without a signature, and therefore Section G is necessary for submission of your Medicaid application. Next slide. Moving on to the Access New York Supplement A application. Again, this form only needs to be completed for anyone who is age 65 or older, certified blind or certified disabled, chronically ill, institutionalized, or applying for coverage of nursing home care coverage. Again, this Supplement A has to be completed in order for Medicaid determination for long-term care community home-based care as well as skilled nursing facility coverage. Section A will include who the supplement is being completed for. This will include legal last name, legal first name, middle initial, social security number, as well as marital status. Section B is for blind, disabled, or chronically ill. Question 1 includes, are you chronically ill? Being chronically ill actually means unable to work for at least 12 months because of an illness or injury, or having an illness or disability impairment that has lasted or is expected to last for 12 months. Again, this is a yes or a no question. Question 2, are you certified blind by the Commission for the Blind and Visually Handicapped? If yes, send proof. This is again a yes or a no question. Question 3, if you are disabled and working, are you interested in applying for the MBI WPD program? This is a Medicaid buy-in program for working people with disabilities that offers Medicaid coverage to people who are disabled, working, at least 16 years old, but not yet 65 years old. And the program allows higher income levels than regular Medicaid programs, so working people with disabilities can earn more and keep their Medicaid coverage. Again, this is a yes or a no question. Question C is, are you living in an adult home or assisted living facility? Again, this is a yes or a no question. Section D is regarding resources and assets. You have numerous choices on this form, which include different levels of Medicaid coverage. Section 1 is applying for Medicaid coverage, but not coverage of community-based long-term care services. This means you are able to attest to the amount of your resources instead of proving them, and you are not required to submit documentation of your resources. It's important to note that this level of coverage does not include any nursing home care, or any other community-based long-term care services and supports. Level 2, you are applying for coverage of community-based long-term care services. You must submit documentation of the current amount of your resources. These services include any adult day health care, limited licensed home care, private duty nursing, hospice in the community, hospice residence programs, assisted living, consumer-directed personal assistance program, certified home health agency services, residential treatment facility care, personal emergency response services, personal care services, managed long-term care in the community, waiver and other services provided through a home and community-based waiver program. Again, this is not skilled nursing facility level coverage, and you only have to prove your current 30-day resources. The next section includes your institutionalized and applying for coverage of nursing home care. This is the highest level Medicaid coverage, and you must submit documentation of your resources for the past 60 months. Again, this includes a disclaimer that you may be eligible for short-term rehab services. Short-term rehab services include one commencement or admission in a 12-month period of up to 29 consecutive days of nursing home and certified home health care. So again, for purposes of this resource, we are going to be looking at applying for the highest level of Medicaid coverage, including a 60-month look back for your resources. It is extremely important that you list all resources owned by you and or your spouse, including any custodial accounts. If you are applying for coverage of nursing home care, you will need to list any accounts closed in the past 60 months. This includes balance at closing and an explanation of why the balance was transferred or how it was spent. Additionally, for purposes of this Medicaid application, we will need to provide a written explanation of any transaction of over $2,000. Medicaid retains the right to review all transactions made during the transfer look-back period. Section 1 is basic checking, savings, and credit union accounts, as well as certificates of deposit. Again, you will need to list the bank name, your account number, the name of the owner, the current dollar amount, and if there was a previous account closed, the account balance as well as the date closed. The second section is retirement accounts, which includes deferred compensation, IRAs. Again, you will need to list account number, who the owner is, the type of institution, the current dollar amount, and whether or not there is an active payout. Next slide. Section 3 is regarding life insurance policies. You will need to list the insurance company, the policy number, the name of the owner, the cash value, and the face value. Again, regarding life insurance policies, in many instances, you will have to contact your life insurance policy holder to be able to determine your cash value as well as your face value. Number 4 are any annuities, stocks, bonds, or mutual funds. Again, name of the owner, the company, the date purchased, and the current value. Section 5 is regarding trust accounts. This is if you and or your spouse created or are the beneficiary of a trust. You will need to submit a copy of the trust, including the schedule of trust assets. You'll need the name of the trust, the grantor, the trustee, assets, beneficiary, and any income. Section 6 includes burial asset and burial contracts. You will need to include any copies if you have pre-formulated arrangements, and include questions regarding you and or your spouse having a prepaid funeral arrangement for you or anyone in your family. Do you and or your spouse have burial space or plot for anyone else in your family? Do you and or your spouse have money in a bank account set aside for a burial fund? As well as, if this is a yes question, what the account number is, and if it is for you and or your spouse. The next question includes whether or not life insurance is to be used as part of your burial fund. If yes, you will need to include the policy number of your life insurance policy, as well as if the full cash value will be used for burial expenses. Of note, long-term and skilled nursing facility level Medicaid coverage do include provisions to allow you to have prepaid burials as an exempt expense on your application. Number 7 are any vehicles, cars, trucks, vans, recreational vehicles, including campers, snowmobiles, boats, and motorcycles, including name of owner, year, make, and model, fair market value, as well as the amount owed. Additionally, there's a question on whether or not the vehicle is in use, yes or no, for you to be able to provide information on usage of those vehicles in the community. Next slide. Number 8 is equity value in the home. This is if you own your own home, what is the equity value currently, as well as information on any other types of resources with the ability to list the resource type, the name of the owner, as well as the value. Section E is real property other than your home. So this would be if you and or your spouse own or have legal interest in any other real property. If yes, you're given the option of rental property, vacation property, timeshare, vacant land, or other property rights in or outside of New York State. If yes to any of those questions, you will need to include information on the name and address of owner, address of property, type of ownership, as well as equity value. Section F is regarding your homestead. It includes if you and or your spouse have a legal interest in your home, including a life estate. This is a yes or a no question. Number 2, if you're in a medical facility and own your own home, do you intend to return to your own home, yes or no? It's important to note that this question is regarding intent, not ability, and therefore if, as a client, your intent is to return home from a skilled nursing facility, the answer would be yes to this question. Number 3 is if no, is anyone living in the home? If so, who is living in the home, as well as whether or not this person is related to you and or your spouse, including a provision if you and or your spouse's child of any age is living in the home if disabled. Again, we would stop here unless you or anyone in your household is institutionalized and applying for coverage of nursing home care. The last page of this document will need to be signed. Next page. So this would be a form to be completed if an individual was either in a long-term care facility or in an acute care hospital waiting for skilled nursing facility placement. This would include the name of the facility, the date admitted, the contact information. Section H are asset transfers. And again, this is important for skilled nursing facility level Medicaid coverage because they do take into account any transfers that have happened within the past 60 months as part of the look-back period. Question A, did you, your spouse, or someone on your behalf transfer, change ownership in, give away, or sell any assets, including your home and or other real estate? This is a yes or a no question. B, are you in the process of selling property? Again, yes or no question. C, did you, your spouse, or someone on your behalf change the deed or the ownership of any real property, including creation of a life estate? This is the yes or no question. And if the answer is yes, you will need to provide when. D, if you purchased a life estate in another person's home, did you live in the home for at least 1 year after you purchased the life estate? Again, yes or no question. E, did you, your spouse, or someone on your behalf purchase a mortgage, loan, or promissory note? If yes, you will need to provide when. F, did you, your spouse, or someone on your behalf purchase or change an annuity? If yes, you will need to include information on when. Question 2, is it in the last 60 months have you or your spouse created or transferred any assets into or out of a trust? If you answered yes to this question, you will need to explain the transfer in the below section. 3, have you, your spouse, or someone acting on your behalf given a deposit to a healthcare or residential facility such as a nursing home, assisted living facility, continuing care retirement community, or life care community? If this is a yes, send copy of the agreement for consideration. The last section are tax returns. Did you and or your spouse file U.S. income tax returns in the past 4 years? If this is a yes, you will need to provide full copies of 4 years worth of your income tax returns. This is the final page of your Medicaid application and includes information on Medicaid eligibility as well as the resource look-back period. It's important to note that upon receipt of Medicaid, a lien may be filed or recovery may be made against your real property under certain circumstances. If you are in a medical institution and not expected to return home, Medicaid paid on your behalf may be recovered from persons who had legal responsibility for your support at the time of the medical services were obtained. Medicaid may also recover the cost of services and premiums incorrectly paid. Federal and state laws provide that any transfer of assets for less than fair market value made by an individual or an individual's spouse within the transfer of assets look-back period, or 60 months in the case of trust-related transfers, prior to the first of the month in which the individual is both in receipt of nursing facility services and determined otherwise eligible for Medicaid coverage of nursing facility services, may cause the individual to be ineligible for nursing facility services for a period of time. As a condition of Medicaid coverage for nursing facility services, applicants are required to disclose a description of any interest in the individual's or individual spouses has in an annuity. This disclosure is required regardless of whether the annuity is irrevocable or countable resource. In addition to the purchase of an annuity, certain transactions made to an annuity by the applicant or the applicant's spouse on or after February 8th, 2006 may be treated as a transfer unless the state is named as the remainder beneficiary in the first portion for at least the amount of Medicaid paid on behalf of the annuitant, or the state is named on the second position after the community spouse or minor or disabled child, or in the first position if such spouse or representative of such child disposes of any remainder for less than fair market value. If documentation is not submitted verifying that the state has been named remainder beneficiary, you may be ineligible for coverage of nursing facility services. If the annuity is countable resource at the time of your application, you, your spouse, may not be required to name the state as remainder beneficiary. Again, you're going to certify under penalty of perjury that the information on the form is correct and complete to the best of your knowledge, and that you understand you must report any changes in the information within 10 days of the change. Again, you will need to sign your Medicaid application, and if you are the spouse of an individual seeking nursing facility Medicaid coverage, you will also need to sign as the applicant's spouse. In your Medicaid packet, you will also receive information on what documents are necessary when you apply for health insurance coverage. It is extremely important that you use this as a resource to make sure your Medicaid application is complete and can be processed. Again, each section on your Medicaid application includes notification of where you need to send proof. This listing includes what proof is necessary and acceptable by the local Medicaid department in order to process your information.